My name is Jaelin Martin, and I will be reciting the following speech written and spoken by Angela Eagle, the first openly lesbian member of the UK Parliament in 2019. So we know that the motivations of some of those involved in this case are reactionary, and they are to return us to an era where LGBTQ people should get back in the closet and hide and be ashamed of the way they are. We are not going to get back in the closet or hide or be ashamed of the way we are. Nor are we going to allow a generation of pupils that are now in school to go through what people in the 80s had to go through because this chamber let them down. We are not going to allow this to happen in the name of religion. The children that they sent to school or the potential LGBTQ children in school do not deserve to be treated with anything other than equality and respect. All of the teaching on relationships and sexual education, all that means is that this diversity needs to be represented. This is not propagandizing. It's not trying to turn people gay, which I've heard about, but I'm not sure it's possible to turn people gay. There certainly would be no gay people if you had to be taught about being gay. Their respect, their rights, and their rights to have an equal welcome in school. Not to be bullied, not to be treated as if they're lesser, not to be made to feel that somehow there is something wrong with the way they are. Not to be suicidal. Not to be called faggot or lesser in school, and not to be humiliated. All this is what we're talking about when we're talking about relationship and sex education in school. Plain, simple decency. When I came across this speech by Angela Eagle, I felt that it was very powerful and I related to it, being a young lesbian woman who felt outcasted by not feeling the way I was told to feel growing up. In school environments, most things that are taught are heterosexual relationships and sexual practices. It's standard teaching to be learning safe sex practices in school for a man and a woman, and I think this can be very problematic for young children who may not be having those experiences when they're older, and then they don't know how to have safe experiences as they grow up. I think the main point that stood out to me in this speech is Angela talking about censoring LGBTQ content in school for religious purposes. I feel that young people can commit suicide often, and this is because of lack of acceptance by family and friends. And if teachers and adults are not teaching inclusivity and acceptance in school, then how are children ever supposed to learn that some people are different and that it's okay that some people are different? I think that the difference it could make in school-age children's mental health if inclusivity and acceptance was taught and expected, there would be such a huge change in the rates of teen suicide or the rates of unsafe sex practices of young adults receiving HIV/AIDS and things that could be prevented if they were just taught correctly in school. I think if adults can't teach acceptance and respect for people who aren't the same as you, then they should not be in a position to teach. And I feel that the same goes for politicians, that if religion and personal beliefs is stopping them from making the correct decisions and creating rules that are barring children from learning safe sex and inclusivity and acceptance, that these politicians should not be people that are in power.